Alright, so before you guys watch this video, first off, what I want to say is subscribe. And second off, I kind of make fun of this video, kind of insult him maybe a bit too much, but I'm basically just doing it for entertainment. I think it's funny, I think it's fun, I don't, have anything against this guy. His video is actually pretty well put together. I just kind of make fun of him in this video because I think it's fun to talk and bully other people. But yeah, it's not serious, and obviously these are all opinions, so you can disagree with me. Please don't dislike the video Dream Stands if any of you find this video, which probably won't anyway, but still, I don't know, man. Just know that it's all opinions, and I don't actually hate this guy, and I don't think your favorite YouTuber sucks at PvP. Just, I don't know, man. Whatever.
You can't just take the best PvPer and say they're the best Minecraft player. That wouldn't make any sense, since PvP is only one of the many skill sets in Minecraft.
Well, this is true. I do agree with this. The reason why people might take this approach is because PvP requires the most skill out of anything in Minecraft, and generally, PvPers are also good at the other parts of the game.
I think I finally figured out the best way to solve this mystery, and the result may surprise you.
The result definitely surprised me, because the way he determines the best Minecraft player is not very good.
The first category is IQ, or the mental game. It's exactly what it sounds like, those pro gamer moves, quick thinking and decision making, strategies and techniques.
This definitely does make sense to include, but I would like you to keep in mind of the 3 things that he has listed under IQ, because he doesn't exactly use them properly later on.
The second category is PvP, how well the player does against their opponents in battle physically and also consistently winning those battles.
So as he said, obviously he had to include PvP, but the 2 things he has listed under PvP are how well the player fights, which makes sense, but then consistently winning, which to me, I don't know if that makes that much sense to include, because if they fight well, they're going to win. And if they don't fight well and win, it's because that their opponents aren't very good. Take Technoblade in Minecraft Monday, for example. So, I don't really know why he would include this, and it seems to be basically the only basis he uses for PvP later on.
So the third category is game progression. Things like getting better gear, ores, and especially defeating the Ender Dragon is all progression. And how well and fast these players do that determines their score.
I think this for sure makes sense to include, and I think his explanation makes sense as well. But keep that in mind, because he doesn't exactly stick to it when rating the players.
But in terms of importance and impact in the game, these 3 categories matter the most and take the highest amount of skill.
Well, I don't disagree with him here. I think he should have added game sense as a category. But don't worry, I'll get to that later on.
Game Knight who can literally beat Minecraft in any way possible.
One thing to keep in mind as he rates the players is their IQ, because I definitely don't agree with the approach he takes.
Gamerboy80 who is an insane PvPer, especially in Bed Wars.
This just straight up isn't true. Gamerboy80 isn't an insane PvPer, and it's not like Bed Wars has a vastly different style of PvP that he's great at. It's just that he wins Bed Wars because of game sense. And I don't know why his IQ and progression are so high. I've never seen him make any particularly smart plays. He has great game sense in Bed Wars, but I don't know about other games. And I just don't understand any of these rankings at all.
Stimpy, who is easily one of the top PvPers, especially in duels.
This just doesn't make any sense to me, okay? He gave Stimpy a 10 in PvP, which is obviously true, but he gave Gamerboy a 9, so it's not like that's that prestigious of a rank anyway. And you would hope that Stimpy's just like natural, quick reactions in PvP and PvP IQ would translate to a high IQ score, but no, he gave him an average. And he gave his progression a score below average, even though, he's starting to play more game modes, and his progression is definitely not below average. It's a 5 at absolute worst. So I just don't understand not only where he's getting these rankings for Stimpy, but why, if he's ranking him so low, why other players are ranked so high. Like, for example, Gamerboy80. Gamerboy80's IQ score should definitely be lower than Stimpy's, and his progression should probably be lower as well. I just don't understand this.
X Nesturio, who is an extremely experienced UHC player.
Okay, so at this point, I feel like it's kind of comedic. He gave X Nestorio the exact same ranks as GamerBoy80. So, his PvP is not a 10, which makes no sense. How is his PvP just as good as GamerBoy? Like, yeah, he loses, but that's usually because he's not sweating or the other players around him are really good. GamerBoy has not PvP'd any top PvPers. That's why he wins all the time, because he plays Bed Wars. And how is Nestor's IQ score a 7? Because UHC probably requires the most IQ out of any game mode, and Nestor's game sense across different minigames is good as well. And his progression should also probably be higher than a 7, because again, he plays UHC. He knows how to play survival Minecraft, so he should probably be pretty close to a 10 across the board. It seems like this guy just hasn't really watched him play much.
BenX, who currently holds the world record speedrun in Minecraft.
So I think this is where we get to the problem. Because, yeah, this guy's progression score should be a 10, and his PvP score should probably be a 4 as well. But this guy loves giving people who play survival Minecraft high IQ scores, and I don't understand it. What about survival requires higher IQ than PvP? If, in my opinion, PvP requires a much, much higher IQ, because you have to make decisions so much more quickly, and it's just much more complex than playing the game, in survival mode. So I don't really know why he's giving this guy a higher IQ score than X Nestorio and Stimpy PvP. I just don't really understand it.
And trailing after BenX in speedruns as of right now is Illumina, who is a beast at speedrunning as well.
Okay, so personally, I think Illumina's PvP score should be about a 5. I watched him PvP for a bit, but I also I don't understand why this guy loves giving speedrunners such high IQ scores. I just don't get it.
Another absolutely insane player is Fruitberries.
Personally, I feel like he's kind of underrating Fruitberries here, because Fruitberries is like really fast with just game progression and all that. He's not like a speedrunner, but just because of his experience in UHC, he's pretty fast with all the basic stuff. And I feel like his UHC game sense needs to be reflected in his IQ or PvP, because his IQ is naturally pretty good, so is his PvP, but his game sense should probably bump one of those up to a 9. And I feel like his progression could be a 9 as well. So, I don't know. I don't know about this one.
Technoblade, easily one of the best PvPers at the moment.
No, this isn't true. I don't know where everybody got the idea that Technoblade was good at PvP, because Technoblade, well, I guess I'll just let him explain for himself.
For the last 6 years, everyone in the PvP community has always said, yeah, the Technoblade guy, he's not that good. He just makes up for it with game sense and strategy whenever I do well in a tournament.
I mean, I guess I get the reason why people think he's good at PvP, because he did super well in Minecraft Monday, especially in the PvP rounds, but none of those players are any good. The majority of them, all the top competitors in all the early weeks, were people who were coming back to Minecraft and used to not even be that good. There's no fishing rods in the event, so I don't even know how you can classify him as a good PvPer when it's not potion PvP, it's not rod PvP, it's just really easy for everyone involved. So of course he's going to dominate. He's the only one there who actually played PvP, and he didn't really compete in any other 1.8 tournaments with actual good players, so
I know some of you may not even have expected Dream to be on this list, but he's actually really underrated as a player.
I think the ironic thing about this is that now Dream is probably the most overrated Minecraft player ever. I mean, maybe that would be Technoblade, but at least Technoblade is good for a different reason than people think, whereas Dream is just worse than people think.
If you go to Dream's channel and go to any of his recent videos, you will be amazed at what he pulls off. He is constantly pulling pro gamer moves left and right that make you question what is possible in Minecraft.
So unlike the guy making this original video, I actually did some research, because I don't naturally watch Dream or Fruitberries. After watching them, actually I think their content's pretty good, and I'm probably gonna start watching them now. But I watched Dream's newest video, okay? And there was one thing that I was really impressed with that he did. And it was in, like, the first seconds of the game, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted, like, a netherrack, and he knew that that was going to be a spot where he could get a chest that would have some weapons and cool stuff in it, and he immediately went for it. That was impressive. But that's really just kind of, that isn't really IQ, that's kind of just game sense, and part of that is just getting lucky. But overall, I've watched a lot of Dream's videos, and the stuff he pulls off isn't really that impressive. It either shows a great game sense and survival, but pretty much everybody on this list has great game sense. Nestor, Stimpy, Techno, all of them have great game sense, probably better than Dream. And as far as his actual IQ, it's just not that high. The moves that he pulls off that supposedly show high IQ are just pretty common.
Also, he is extremely fast with decision making in any intense scenario.
Now, I do agree here, and I was definitely impressed by that. I'm pretty sure the only reason I was impressed by that is because he plays survival. And typically, players who play survival just are not that fast with decision making. If you compare his decision making to any of the top players, again, Stimpy, Nestor, Techno, Fruitberries, he's just not as fast as any of them.
He spots a ravine and looks down into it and sees water.
I just want to point out that if there wasn't water there, Dream would be completely screwed and the video would be over right then.
Knowing that the 3 hunters will chase him down and jump also, he places the only blocks he had to block the water off so they die of fall damage.
So for this clip, I kind of wanted to find an example of somebody like X Nestorio or Fruitberries doing this exact thing, but you know what? The guy making this video didn't put that much research into his video, so why should I have to put that much research into mine? I'm just going to tell you that this is not that uncommon. This looks like the 6th place clip in an X Nestorio top 5 from 2016. This is just kind of like basic game sense. I mean, he makes the decision quickly, but again, so would any solid, good PvP player.
And this isn't even close to being a one-time thing for Dream. He is always pulling off these high IQ moves.
So I've watched some videos that are like Dream having 200 IQ, like, those fan videos, and honestly, the stuff that he pulls off is not really worth, putting in a compilation. Like, it's cool, but it's not really, unprecedented. It's not something that deserves an IQ score of 10. Doing that often is something, any solid UHC player can pull off. I mean, I think his IQ should definitely be an 8 or 9, and it's a lot better than the rest of his game, but it's just not that impressive compared to the other best players.
Also, something Dream is incredibly good at that lines in with the whole mental category is deception. In another speedrunner versus hunters video, this time only 2 hunters, he manifests himself into his opponent's head and plays his cards right to pull through.
One thing I don't really like in this video is how he isn't really objective at all. When talking about Dream, he uses certain words to try and emphasize his point onto you when they just aren't really true.
Amazed constantly that make you question what is possible in Minecraft. Extremely very recent 3 well-experienced players constantly outplaying them. Absolutely nothing paled hostiles quickly with sheer precision. The only blocks he had to block the water off so they die of fall damage.
I mean, I'd probably do this too, but his video is scripted, mine isn't, and I'm not claiming to have the answer to who is the best Minecraft player.
Dream is trying to game end one of the stronger hunters, but Dream was one hit almost this entire time, yet he showed 0 weakness, 0 sign of defeat, and he kept attacking, making his opponents think he was stronger than he actually was.
Okay, so one thing that I think is really funny is as he's saying that Dream shows no sign of weakness, Dream is literally backing off to eat food, and his opponent is just standing there. In fact, I cut out the majority of the fight where George is just running away for no reason. George has full health, and he only has a slightly weaker sword. So all he would have to do is turn around and fight just for a little bit, and then he has a teammate there who can also help him. So I don't know why George was running away. Dream didn't win this because of deception. He basically just got lucky.
Just like military strategist Sun Tzu said.
Okay, no. You cannot take Sun Tzu and use it as proof for Dream. No, this is personal now. I hate you on a personal level. You stole that from Technoblade. You cannot use it to justify Dream being the best player. That is Technoblade's...
And to top it all off, Dream is pretty decent at PvP, certainly above average.
Personally, I don't agree with this at all. I mean, I guess I think Dream is an average PvPer, but he's pretty much only playing against his friends, and he's playing 1.9 PvP, which is just... There's only so much skill you can have in 1.9 PvP. It's just not nearly as difficult.
And unlike most players I mentioned earlier, he plays mostly on new combat, which is said to be harder and requires more strategy than old combats.
Are you seriously going to take this guy's word for who the best Minecraft player is? Like, forget analyzing the video, forget any of that. You are going to trust somebody who says this?
Also, I know a lot of you may say that Technoblade is the best, because if Dream were to go up against Technoblade in PvP, he would lose.
Well, if somebody is saying that, then they could also say that Tap-L is the best player, because he would beat Technoblade in a fight. They could also say that Fruitberries is the best player, because he would beat Technoblade in a fight. They would also say that Xnestorio is the best player, because he would beat Technoblade in a fight. They would also say that Stimpy PvP is the best player, because he would beat Technoblade in a fight. They would also say that Huawei, who hasn't actually played Minecraft in like, 3-something years, is the best player because he would beat Technoblade in a fight.
Which is true, since Technoblade is one of the best PvPers.
Again, you're seriously gonna trust this guy on who the best Minecraft player is? Seriously, this guy?
Technoblade, you suck at PvP and you'll never be good. And I'm just like, okay, your comments are harsh, uncalled for, inaccurate. Don't like them.
But again, this system doesn't revolve around PvP or any one type of game mode. It relies on the most used and important skills in the game, which is the best way to determine who the best Minecraft player is.
I definitely agree, but one thing that I think he should have done is not left all of the skills to a 1 out of 10 ranking. I think some of them, like PvP for example, should have been maybe a 1 out of 15, or a 1 out of 14, or a 1 out of 11. Oh wait, I can do that in a spreadsheet and it'll take me like 2 minutes. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I just took like a couple of minutes to make this spreadsheet, and now we're gonna be ranking these players. It took me like 2 seconds to come up with this, ranking system. It would not have been hard for him to come up with this. This is infinitely better than the one he used. So first we're gonna rank Technoblade on a scale of 1 to 15, because, well, I should probably explain it first. Basically, PvP I have at 1 to 15 as the most, the highest points you can get from any skill. So the average player is going to get 7 points from this, whereas the other ones are going to get 5, and then survival, the average player is going to get like 6. And that's because I think PvP is the most important thing in Minecraft. It's the most skill requiring thing. That's the thing most people care about. When you think of a good player, you think of PvP. Then survival next, because it's just such an integral part of Minecraft, and then IQ and minigames are there. They're pretty important, but they're not nearly as important as the other two. And minigames is just like game sense, so it would include game sense for Stimpy in duels, for Nestor in UHC, and just how many different minigames they have experience in. And I also dropped in Time Dio here. You have a lot of the best players in the video, but I dropped in Time Dio because I think, based on those, he definitely could have beat out Dream in that video. So let's see this. We're gonna rank Technoblade 1 out of 15 in PvP. I think the base for him would be an 8, but I don't know. I feel confident giving him a 9, just because he's he wins, which technically could fall under IQ and minigames, but still, you gotta respect. He knows how to rod. He can aim and strafe. He's not bad. IQ for Technoblade is obviously going to be a 10. Survival Minecraft, he's actually not that bad at Survival Minecraft, especially with a lot of SMPs. Well, I guess just SMP Earth, but he also did some challenges. He knows how to play Survival. Again, he used to play Factions back in the day, before, anybody watched his channel. And so, yeah, he knows how to play Survival. He's not a speedrunner, but Let's see. So for this one, 6 would be average. So I think I'll give him a 9 here. I think 10 is when you start getting to the range of speedrunners, but 9 is confident for me. And then with mini games, I have to give him a 10, just because he's just good. He literally, I can try hard any game. Okay, that is something that he has said. If you look at the Hypixel Olympics, it's just a bunch of people who are better than him at PvP, and then he destroys them anyways, because he plays so many different Hypixel minigames. So, Technoblade's probably one of the most balanced players, that's the thing. Mainly reflecting, minigames. He plays a lot of different minigames, and he's just kind of good at everything. So, 38 is Techno's score, I think. Yeah. So now we go with Dream. Dream's score, I'm going to give him a 7, which is average. Technically slightly below average, but I'm not giving point scores. And yeah, Dream is not that good at PvP. Well, I mean, he's solid. He's an experienced player, but he's playing 1.14. There's only so far you can get. And as far as his IQ goes, I'm probably going to give him a 9. He's pretty good. I think I kind of overhated him in the video. He does pull off some pretty cool stuff, some, high IQ moves, and he has some good strategy, but it's not top tier. For survival, I'm giving him a 13, duh. And as far as minigames go, I just don't see him playing many minigames. That's part of the reason why his PvP and IQ look really good, because of his game sense and survival. So, I don't know what to give him. Like, if I go to his channel here, obviously, I have no idea what he's actually playing. And I know he used to play, like, Bed Wars and stuff. He played some Minecraft Monday. But he basically only plays survival. So, for that, I have to dock him there. I'll give him a 6, because that's slightly below average. To get a 4 in minigames, you would have to be terrible at... Because he's good at the mini games he plays, and I'm counting survival as a mini game, even though I have it here, but this is like progressing quickly through survival. This is like having game sense, which Dream definitely does have. He just doesn't have it in many games, so I can only give him a 6, and that puts him out at let's see, so 20 and then 25. There's no way. No, 35. Okay. Now, Nestor, 14 in PvP. Duh. He's a god. IQ. I'll give him the same as Dream. I think that's about accurate. Maybe I should give him a 10. I don't know. As far as survival goes, I'll probably give him a 9 as well as Technoblade. And he's playing a lot of UHCs recently, but I still think that... I think his mini-games definitely deserve at least a 9. I'll give him a 9 there. So, I think Nestor beats out Technoblade. This is pretty close. So, I'm just going to make sure I'm not doing any of these really wrong. So that's 23, that's 32. What the heck? 14 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. Nestor's at 41? Okay. Yeah, he's just a god at everything. Because he dominates in PvP, which gives a much higher score, even though, yeah, that's why. Now, Time Dio. So, Time Dio, 10 in PvP. His IQ, I'll give it an 8. I think he does some dumb stuff sometimes, but yeah, his survival is pretty good. I'll give him a 9 as well. And minigames, I'll give him a 10, because he plays a bunch of different minigames. Sky Wars, Bed Wars, UHC, even like party games and stuff like that. So, I think he gets the exact same score as Techno, yeah. 38. And now Stimpy, 15, duh. I'll give him a 7. I kind of want to give him an 8 in IQ. I think that's fair. Just because he's really smart in that kind of area. And what should I give him in survival? 6 is average, so I'll give him a 7. Because he's not great in the UHCs he's played, which is pretty much the only basis I have to go off of Minecrafters. And I'm not saying like how well he did in the UHCs, I'm saying like how well he did at the actual Minecraft things, because I watch his videos. And as far as mini games goes, he's getting into ranked Skywars. So I'll give him slightly higher than Dream, and let's see if he can pull it out with this. Let's see where he ranks. I don't think he beats Nestor. Nestor is just insane. 37, so he just falls short of guys like Time Dio and Techno, just because he's so insane at PvP. Now, Fruit is very interesting. He's no Nestor, but I think he's close. I'll give him a 12. His IQ is super high, honestly. I might give him a 10. Well, trapping and stuff. I want to do it. I want fruit berries. That might be a biased pick. I mean, I don't. The only reason I'm comfortable with doing that is because I'm not like a fan of fruit berries. I kind of wanted to lowball like Techno and Nestor, Time Dio and Stimpy because I'm fans of them, so I'm naturally biased. But fruit, I'm not doing that in. So survival again, he plays UHC, so I'll give him a 9. And like he's good at the survival elements in UHC. Minigames, he doesn't. This is one thing, is I don't think he plays very many minigames on his channel. Yeah, most of these are just UHCs. He did do, I think, in Minecraft Monday, or in Minecraft Saturdays, he did really good, which, is pretty telling. All that stuff. So I think he's not gonna get, the Dream or Stimpy treatment, but we'll give him an 8 there. He's not Time Dio, he's not Techno. So this is actually gonna be pretty good, but I think Nestor got it, but this is pretty close, pretty intense. Yeah, so I think Fruit Berries is coming out in second, as far as being good at the game, yeah. So, if we rank these players, according to my rankings, Exnostorio is the best player in Minecraft. Fruit Berries is the second best. Tied for third are Technoblade and Time Dio. I feel like maybe I put Dio a bit high on some of these. Yeah, maybe I should bump down his, I think I'll bump down his, I can't give him the lowest IQ here. He's already tied with Snippy. No, I think I can, because I think he does do some dumb stuff sometimes. So I think I'm bumping those two down. This is dumb, I know. But, yeah, he's not, I don't think he's better than Stimpy, so Technoblade, Stimpy, PP, and Time Dio, and then Dream all the way at the bottom. This is my list, and I know I just screwed him over, which you could do to certain players, but this seems like a pretty comprehensive list, a pretty good list. The UHCers at the top, somebody who plays everything, just an insane PvPer, a slightly worse Technoblade, and then the speedrunner. So personally, I think that makes sense. I think this is a good list. Fight me if you think it's wrong. I will destroy you with facts and logic. I don't really care about this that much. I'm taking this way more seriously in the video than it's, like, come on, it's Minecraft. But I'm just annoyed because, like, this guy could have done the teeniest bit of research and it would have made his video so much better. Like, Dream is just he's worse than 3 of the players he mentioned, 4 of the players he mentioned, and some player that, like, nobody even knows about. Like, you could probably add a ton of guys to this list, and, you know, they would get pretty high up there. But, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.